Hello everyone, this is Piyush. Welcome back to my channel. In this video, let's look at what documents to send and where to send these documents for federal taxes. So without wasting any time, let's get into it. Congratulations if you have already filled out your federal tax forms. The deadline is almost a month away, that is 15th April 2025. So we want to make sure that we send the correct set of documents to the correct address before this deadline. In this video, we will see what is the correct order of documents, what documents you need, and what's the correct address to send these documents. For the purpose of this video, we will only cover people who had income such as W2 income, interest income, and or dividend income, and that you are considered a non-resident alien for tax purposes. If you are considered a resident alien for tax purposes, or if you had many more incomes or more types of forms than this, then I would suggest you to consult your university or consult a tax professional, because we want to ensure that we don't miss any forms when it comes to tax filing. So now let's start with the set of documents. The first form is the copy B of all your W2s. So if you had multiple W2s, you have to attach the copy B of each and every W2. There are separate copies in the total W2. It might be copy B, copy 2 and copy C, but for federal purposes you only have to attach the copy B. There are instances where in a single page you get all the copies, whether it's copy 2, copy B and copy C. So in that case you can attach the entire page. That's what I did. But if you get the copies in separate pages, make sure you only attach the copy B, because only that's needed for the federal taxes. The second form is the main form, that is form 1040NR. This basically states all the income that you earn, if you are getting any refund or if you are owing money to the government. On the second page of the form 1040NR, make sure you sign the form, put the date, put your phone number and email address. So make sure this section is complete, otherwise your form won't be considered complete. So the third form to attach is Schedule NEC. This schedule is to be attached only by people who had income such as interest and dividends. So if you remember, and if you have referred my video, you know that we are taxed at a flat rate of 30% as an international student from India. So only attach this form if you had these types of income. Otherwise, you can ignore this form. You don't need to sign and date on this form. Just print it out and attach it after the form 1040NR. The next form is the Schedule OI. This basically states information such as how many days you were present in the US, your visa status, etc. So you don't need to sign and date this form. Just attach it after your previous form. The next form is form 8843. This is a visa compliant form and required to be filed by each and every F1 holders, whether you earned any income or not. You don't need to sign the form 8843 if you are attaching it with your tax return, that is form 1040NR. It is only to be signed and dated if you didn't earn any income and filing the form by itself. The next forms would be the forms 1099. Remember that you only attach these forms if you had any federal tax withheld from your income. So if you see the federal income tax withheld as 0, you don't need to attach this form with your tax return. So once you have all these documents in the correct order, the next step is to just keep that in order, fold the forms, put it in an envelope, and the next step would be going to any courier service near you. It might be UPS, USPS or any other mailing service for that matter. And once you have that, you have to give your address, the origin address, and the destination address, that is the IRS. So an important thing to remember here is that there are two addresses where you can send your forms. One is if you are getting a refund, there's an address in Austin, Texas. But if you are owing money to the government and you are enclosing a payment, the address is different, that is in Charlotte, North Carolina. So ensure that you put the correct address, otherwise it might delay your refunds or you might face some consequences. So ensure that if you are getting a refund, you send it to the correct address. If you are making a payment, you send it to the correct address. Once you go to a mailing service, I would suggest you to pay a few bucks extra and get a tracking number for your delivery, because we don't want these documents to get lost in the way. Then you won't have any way to track whether it reached the IRS or it's somewhere in between. So get a tracking number. In that way you can ensure that your documents reach to the IRS by the correct date. So yeah, this would complete your federal taxes. Finally, half of your headache would be gone. The state taxes is a separate topic. I will probably make a separate video for Indiana and other states, but this was for federal taxes. Just to summarize in the correct order, the set of documents are: 1. Copy B of all the W2s. Second, form 1040NR with sign, date, phone number and email on the second page. Third is Schedule NEC if you had interest and dividend income. Fourth is Schedule OI without sign. Fifth is form 8843. If you are filing it by itself, then only sign it. If you are filing it with 1040NR, you don't need to sign and date it. And the last is the form 1099, only if any federal tax was withheld from your pay. Otherwise, you can ignore this form. And that's it for the order. Make sure you have it in the correct order, because the person who is checking your returns, they might have hundreds and thousands of forms, so we want to make their life a bit easier by having it in the correct order. Comment down if you have any questions for me. Share this video with as many people as possible so they send the correct send of documents, send it to the correct address before the deadline. Like and subscribe my channel if you find my content useful. Thank you again for watching this video. Until next time.